been the reaction there in the mining community at the mine among the workers to this announcement?
Well, it's obviously of extreme concern, Yuvika, that 13,000 people over the next 2 years are going to lose their jobs here. And it's the trickle-down effect of those that are the income keepers, the breadwinners in many families, and conservatively about 10 dependents for each miner working here. So that's, you know, over 100,000 people that are going to be impacted by this decision. Impala Platinum coming out last week saying that it's to keep the company fully funded, which means profitable in layman's terms. So it is a downscaling in a phased-in approach over the next 2 years. So 6,500. So it'll be in various tranches at various significant points up to June 2020. And of course, concern in some of the communities here that some of the people we spoke to yesterday, one of them saying that he lost his job 2 years ago here at Impala. As you drive around Rustenburg, you see a lot of people sitting on the side of the road, a lot of them in mining fatigues. These are people that have worked in the industry at some point and no longer. So it's a finite resource. The mine behind me is mining platinum. We have 80% of the world's platinum, but it is a finite resource. What you take out of the ground today is no longer there tomorrow. So this is where the diversification of the economy of Rustenburg is incredibly important. We spoke to the mayor of Rustenburg yesterday. You're going to be seeing that interview a little bit later today. 70% of Rustenburg's economy is dependent on the mines, on mining in this area. So we are currently standing on the platinum belt. As I said, 80% of the world's platinum is here. So for over the next 20 years, the mayor calls it Plan 2040. They want to see how they can move away from their excessive dependence on the mineral wealth of this area. But of course, for the moment, the immediate impact is going to be on these communities here. And what a lot of people don't realize, the labor force, the composition of that labor force that is here in the Northwest Province, in many cases comes from the Eastern Cape. So a lot of the people that earn the money here send it back home to the dependents there. So while there may be an immediate impact here, one can only imagine the catastrophic fallout that's going to happen in many communities in the Eastern Cape, where that money is ultimately then spent or not spent once these people lose their jobs.
Well, Michael, Implat's saying that it is fully committed to minimizing the potential impact on these communities. They're near the mining operations. Any idea how? Have they outlined how they actually plan to do that, or is it just sort of trying to ease or calm the tensions around this announcement now?
Well, there has to be a negotiation process in terms of Section 52 of the Mineral Resources Act. And this is what the Mineral Resources Minister, Gwede Mantashe, has spoken about, that they were in the beginning of a process of... So in terms of the law, if a company is going to retrench or cut more than 500 jobs, it is, in terms of our law, it has to get in touch with the Mineral Resources Department, who then looks at an alternative process to mitigate the consequences on the labor force. And the minister saying that he was incredibly surprised. He called it the careless and reckless decision by Implat to go ahead and make this announcement public when they were at the beginning process of a negotiation to try and mitigate those effects. And he hosted a press briefing on Friday last week where he said that it's an incredibly worrying situation and that there are alternatives to not only try and mitigate the job losses, but to drive up the demand for platinum. Yes, it's a resource that's seen a share price that has crashed and that the industry is under pressure, not only platinum, but gold as well, but platinum especially. So they're looking at introducing a Mandela Platinum coin, which is an interesting concept. The second was to have platinum fuel cells. And the third is to bring in smaller players, smaller black companies that are able to come in that don't have as high overheads as a massive giant like Impala Platinum has, to mine the shafts that this company behind me says it's simply unprofitable for them to continue mining them. Gwede Mantashe is saying there are alternatives, and he says He's urging them, come back to the negotiation table and do not continue on, he said, a careless and reckless commitment to a predetermined outcome.
All right, and then we have other organizations like Free Market Foundation saying mining laws won't allow Implats to look at other alternatives. Interesting to see what will happen here. Thank you very much, Michael Appel out in Rustenburg for us.